one's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade.
While the rest of us were hunkered down during the pandemic watching streamers, artist Warren Wright, a.k.a. Warren Cito, was recreating his favorite movie musicals.
I am 16, going on 17.
And television shows and music videos using Barbie dolls. His latest Dollmation was inspired by the Ken doll beach-off scene from the new Barbie movie.
If I wasn't severely injured, I would beat you off right now, Ken.
Warren Cito joined me from his art studio in Brooklyn. Warren, I apologize. I'm going to have a smile on my face for this entire interview because I have gotten such a kick out of your art. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is amazing.
Well, you grew up in Glendale, and you've always been into art, but when did you pivot to Barbies?
It was probably about like 5-6 years ago. I'm a big lover of anything mid-century, so it just kind of fit in with my aesthetic.
One of the early videos that you created was a Barbie copy, a Dollmation of the Uptown Girl video starring Christy Brinkley and her then boyfriend, Billy Joel. Billy Joel is played by Mario, which blew me away. And Christy Brinkley, how did you do the dance moves?
Yeah, I just was listening to like the beat, what the dolls were capable of moving, and maybe referenced the video a couple times and just came up with my own moves.
You take all sorts of genres. I mean, you do Marilyn Monroe doing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
But diamonds are a girl's best friend.
How do you create the costumes and the sets and the hair? I mean, this is super labor intensive.
It is. It's amazing. I learned a lot of stuff on YouTube on how to do hair. Some of the outfits are the Mattel ones. Some of them, like for Don't Rain on My Parade, I created. Mine was a huge inspiration and it's really big in what I do. She taught me how to sew when I was little. I used to play with string puppets because it was like playing with dolls, but under the radar. So she walked in and she saw me stapling clothes together and she taught me how to sew.
You took a Barbie, but it looks like Barbie's had, how do we say it politely, some work done? How did you make her look like Barbra Streisand?
Get ready for me, love, 'cause I'm a comer.
Well, Mattel actually released a Barbra Streisand Barbie. I was in a fierce eBay bidding war for her because they were pretty pricey. So it's like, it was super stressful trying to during the pandemic, people are on their computers, doll people don't mess around. So I was very excited to be able to get her.
Barbra Streisand.
But I had to switch her head onto an articulated body and just really go from there.
Yeah, I mean, you are known to take their bodies apart. Somebody called you the Jeffrey Dahmer of parties because your apartment is littered with doll parts. Is that true?
It is totally true. And yeah, sometimes I'll have explaining to do on dates.
Hey guys, Warren Cito here on the set of, that's right, The Birds, Hitchcock, 1963.
One of my very favorite videos of yours was where you recreated Tippi Hedren in The Birds, the scene where they're getting the children to leave the schoolhouse and be very quiet so the birds don't get them.
Do not make a sound until I tell you to run.
Doesn't work out so well.
Part of the fun with that was it was the 60s. So, the special effects then were cutting edge, but not so much now. So to have kind of the birds, seeing them hanging from the wire, from the wires, attacking the vintage skippers, I think it's just hysterical. So much of this, I do it to make me laugh. And, it's great that it makes other people laugh.
You made me laugh when you had Cher singing Dark Lady.
Dark lady laughed and danced and lit the candles one by one.
The Gypsy. I remember that song playing on the radio back in the 70s.
I love using vintage heads because I think it's great to take classic Americana and just put it on its head. And I love the Doors gay character just flat out murdering Cher and Malibu Ken.
I gotta ask, Warren, does Mattel know what you're doing? Have they hired you? You should be on their payroll.
Mattel hasn't hired me, but the National Barbie Convention, they did. It was during the pandemic. They reached out to me to do a couple of videos because they wanted to surprise us for the convention since everything was online. And it was amazing because one thing I need to say is I do it all on my phone. So I told the guys, I was like, hey, look, I'm not super high tech. This is all done on my phone. And they were like, we love what you do. And that was just really great. The people, that love Barbie trusted me to, make these videos for them.
I am woman.
You grew up in sort of the shadow of the Imagineering building out there in Glendale, and you used to love the theater there. Then you found yourself a participant in a film festival. That must have been exciting.
Yeah, the Alex Theater in Glendale. And I had my very first film festival last year. And being in a room with people, watching them react, as opposed to just hearing about it online, was really special. It was a full circle moment to me because I used to love that theater. I used to think about Walt Disney.
Warren Wright, also known as Warren Cito, and his Barbie Dalmatian Magic, continued success, and we are all voting for a Barbie 2 sequel, and we're hoping that you are the end credits. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.